What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Insight. Garry just crowned himself the greatest welterweight on the planet. He says he's knocking out Belal Muhammad this Saturday, then going straight into a title shot. And if the UFC wants an interim belt fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov, Garry says he's more than ready for that smoke too. But that's not the only heat Ian's involved in right now, because the drama with Rampage Jackson has officially resurfaced. Their beef goes all the way back to a podcast mix-up during UFC 298 fight week. Garry was already scheduled to appear on Rampage's podcast, but days before the episode, Rampage went on Ariel Helwani's show and claimed Garry didn't want to come on because he was afraid of being made fun of. He even dragged Garry's family into the conversation. Ian fired back instantly, calling Rampage fat and stupid for making that claim, especially when he was literally confirmed for the show. After that, Garry pulled out of the appearance completely. Later on, Rampage explained the situation on Anthony Pettis' podcast. He admitted he got it wrong. There was another fighter who didn't want to come on because of ridicule, but he mistakenly assumed it was Garry. Still, the damage was already done, and Rampage said Ian is the only fighter he genuinely dislikes, even calling him a bitch and saying he can't stand him. Alright, let's roll the clip.
The only way I'd take another fight is if Islam is injured, Shavkat comes back and they say it's an interim world title fight.
Okay.
Because I want to get that win back. But that's the only fight I would take. When I beat Belal Muhammad and when I knock him out in the fashion that I know I'm going to do, there is nothing else. I would take the Shavkat one for my own self-sanity and my own want and willingness. But Islam Makhachev is the champion of the world. When I knock out #1 in the world, there's no one else above him. It's Islam Makhachev's job to show up. He stepped into this division. He conquered the belt. He did what he wanted to do. Now he needs to face the best in the world. When I knock out Belal, I'm the best in the world. All the top welterweights are going to compete in 7 days of each other. I want the world seeing that Ilia Garry is the single greatest welterweight walking this planet right now. That's my job on Saturday night.
You are very good at this.
Khamzat Chimaev just gave the wildest answer of UFC Qatar fight week. He was asked about a hypothetical backstage clash between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan, and Khamzat was in a tough spot. He's cool with Ilia, but Arman is like family, and he's literally cornering him tomorrow for the Dan Hooker main event. Khamzat made it clear he would never lay a hand on Ilia, but if Ilia and Arman start throwing down, he's letting them handle it one-on-one. No jumping in, no breaking it up. But then it got even crazier. Chimaev said the only time he'd start throwing punches is if someone else tries to interfere, and he basically admitted that the person most likely to jump in would be Alexander Topuria, Ilia's brother, so that's who he'd end up fighting. These comments blew up instantly online. What's funny is Arman has already said he has no problem with Topuria. He even said that if they meet face to face, he'd shake his hand and keep it respectful. Tsarukyan versus Hooker is a massive fight for the #1 contender spot in Ilia Topuria's division, but the big wild card, we still don't know if El Matador will even be in the lightweight division by the time the winner gets their title shot, especially now that the Islam Makhachev talks are heating up fast.
Just Ilia.
Right now, Ilia Topuria is here, and you came as well. Same with Arman. Everyone keeps wondering whether something will happen if Arman and Ilia run into each other. Could your presence prevent any sort of altercation?
If something happens, it will stay one-on-one between them. I would only step in to take out anyone who tries to interfere. I really don't think anything is going to happen, and I hope nothing happens. This is a sport. We need moments like this in the sport. We need loud fights. They are building a fight, and this is the right way to promote.
After a bunch of awkward forced questions from the reporter,
Khamzat Chimaev was basically pushed into giving a stylistic take on Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. The champ kept things respectful, but he did admit one thing loud and clear. When it's striker versus wrestler, he leans wrestler every single time. Coming from a decorated wrestler like Chimaev, that's no surprise. Still, he made sure not to disrespect Ilia. Every word was measured, but when the narrative was thrown at Ilia that Arman would simply take him down and out-wrestle him, Topuria shut it down immediately. He completely vehemently disagreed with the idea that this is some basic striker versus wrestler matchup. El Matador said there's way more to the fight than people think, and that Arman wouldn't just be able to do whatever he wants. And honestly, we might never even see Ilia versus Arman. If the undefeated Georgian wins his next fight, there's a very real chance he moves up to welterweight to face Islam Makhachev. That's the direction all signs are pointing to, which makes a lightweight showdown with Tsarukyan a long shot for now. Meanwhile, Arman is gearing up to face Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar in just a few hours. Alright, let's dive in.
You can't like analyze the wrestling that way because you never know. You see a Russian guy wrestling with a American guy, and it can go either way, you know what I mean? Before, you were seeing guys in MMA, they were good in striking and maybe in wrestling, but their ground game wasn't that good. Or you see a guy who has a phenomenal ground game, he has a phenomenal striking, but his wrestling sucks. In my case, I'm good everywhere. So you can take me everywhere and I'm gonna feel comfortable. They used to say like, I'm gonna take you to the deep water. I was born in the deep water. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Take me wherever you wanna take me. But I have so many things. He's gonna have some hard time with me. The only thing I need, it's one punch. And you know for sure that I'm gonna connect that one punch.
Sonnen believes Kamaru Usman is the one who truly deserves the next shot at Islam Makhachev, but he also admits that Garry could steal that opportunity depending on what happens at UFC Qatar. Chael explained that he wants Usman to get one more crack at a title because of his legacy, his resume, and the fact that he's still one of the most complete fighters in the sport. But the reality is simple, Garry's hype is massive right now, and in the UFC, hype matters a lot. If the Irish star delivers against Belal Muhammad, especially if he gets a finish, Chael thinks he could easily leapfrog everyone and jump straight into a title shot. And all week, Machado has been loud, promising he's the man to dethrone Islam, saying he's levels above the division and acting like the belt is already his. His only loss is to Shavkat Rakhmonov, a highly competitive fight that went the distance and narrowly went Shavkat's way. Speaking of which, Shavkat himself is gearing up for a comeback. His team just released footage yesterday showing him slowly returning to training. Right now, the division is in a strange spot. Usman has the merit, Garry has the momentum, Shavkat is lurking, and according to Chael, everything hinges on Garry's performance against Belal. One spectacular win, and the entire picture changes overnight.
I know that Garry is going to do everything he can to steal that fight. And Garry, with a good performance and one shot on a microphone, can cover more ground than an other fighter having a year's worth of victories couldn't do. I believe Kamaru Usman is the guy for Islam. I believe it's just as a fan, that's the match that will show us what Islam can do standing up. Because he is not going to just get on top of Usman. I also think that Islam standing up is probably better than we give him credit for, but this would be his chance to show that. I think that's a very fascinating match, particularly in the absence of Rakhmonov. And I don't want Kamaru to sit this one out. Kamaru Usman, as a sportsman, as a gentleman, oftentimes sits these things out. And I don't want him to do that. I want him to jump in this fight. He needs to understand Garry is coming for him. Garry's coming for his spot.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to MMA Analysts and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one from Chris Breeze 8875. People need to stop talking about the Raja situation already. It's f***ing annoying if he hasn't been locked up. Chances are he isn't. The second one from Robert Jones 9275 says, I'm gonna talk about Conor. Glad he's sober and doing something patriotic. Hope he wins. And the last one is from Sigmon M3P says, Conor would have won being president if it was 2016 or 2017, but he's a complete joke now. Those were the top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up. See you in the next video.